Hi everyone. This video we are going to learn about method overriding. So, what's method overriding? Method overriding is a dynamic polymorphism. That means the decision of calling a method will be done at the runtime. If it is done at the compile time, we call it as a method overloading, which is nothing but the compile time polymorphism or the static polymorphism. Method overriding is a dynamic polymorphism. So when we'll call that the two methods are overridden, so for that we need is the relationship between the two classes. That means the two classes, among them there should be one parent class and there should be one child class, and that is a relationship should be exist. And then uh, the method names, suppose in the parent class you have a method m1, and in the child class you have to define the same method, in the sense the same method, the same name. Then only we call it as the two methods are overridden. Okay, and even the parameter types of the methods should be equal. For example, in the parent class, in our example, class A, we have a method called m1 which doesn't have any parameter, and in the child class B, which is extending the parent class A, it also has a method with name m1. The method names are equal, and even the parameter are also matching. That means even in the child class, the m1 method doesn't have any parameter. So that's a rule. If we have the list of parameters of the parent class should match with the child class, then only we'll call the two methods are overridden. So until Java 1.4, there is a compulsion that the even the methods return type should be equal, but from Java 1.5 and higher version, the return types are not mandatory. That means even though the return types of the overridden methods are different, we still call these methods are overridden. And this concept is nothing but covariant return types. So if someone asks you what is a covariant return types, so you can answer this. Let's try to understand method overriding with the help of a program. So I have already created a Java file, test.java, which contains three classes: class A, class B, which extends class A, and a test class. Okay, so in the class A, it contains a variable A, which is instance of 10, and contains a method m1. And class B, which is a child class, it contains variable B, which is initialized to 10, and a method m1. So this is an overridden method which contains some output statement. Even here, this is some output statement saying that inside parent, and here you will see inside child. The two return types of this overridden methods are also same. Okay, so this is all about the class A and class B. The test class, we just will try to call the overridden method and see what is the output. Okay, so as we already discussed that the overridden method name should be equal and the parameter list should be same. Here there is no there is no parameter in the superclass m1 method, and here in the child there is no argument, so there are no parameters. Then we'll call these two methods are overridden. I mean, that means the signature is matching, right? Except the yeah, even the return type doesn't matter from 1.5 and higher version onwards. Let's try to run this program and see what will happen. So what we're calling from the main class, main method. So what we have done here is we created the object B, the child class object, and we are storing that reference into a parent class reference variable. Okay, and we are calling m1 method. Ideally, what will happen? Like if you are calling the m1 method using the parent class reference variable, ideally this should be called the parent class m1 method should be called, but in our case, as these two methods are overridden, instead of calling the parent class method m1 method, the child class m1 method will call. Let's see that. Yeah, it's saying inside child. That means even though you are assigning the child class object reference to a parent uh, reference variable and you're calling the overridden method, it will always call the child class version of the method. That's the reason you got this output. And for now, what we want to do, if we want to call the parent class m1 method, that can just simply create the object of a and call the m1 method and see what's output. Yeah, now the output is inside parent. Okay, so this is how the decision of calling the method will happen at the runtime. See, the compiler doesn't know when you're calling. Yeah, so when you're creating the object of b and assigning it to the parent reference variable and you're calling m1 method here, this time the compiler doesn't know whether it is the JVM is going to call the parent class m1 method or child class m1 method. So that decision will happen only during the runtime. Hence, this is a dynamic polymorphism or the runtime polymorphism.